Hi guys, here's an uncomfortable truth. Sick child. Nothing in life prepares you for the moment a doctor tells you your child has a chronic illness. Nothing. Not business pressure, not financial stress, not relationship problems, not career setbacks, nothing. Because when it's your child, the fear hits at a completely different level. You remember everything about the moment. The room, the consultant's face, the silence afterwards, the look between you and your spouse when reality suddenly changes forever. Because chronic illness usually isn't one dramatic battle. It's a long war, hour by hour, day by day, year by year. Hospital appointments, conflicting medical opinions, medications that work until they suddenly stop working, protocols so irrational and emotionally detached they almost feel inhuman. Hope, disappointment, exhaustion, the endless cycle of trying to protect somebody you love more than yourself. And when your child is awake at 3 a.m. in pain, you're awake too. You suffer with them. I remember one consultant looking us dead in the eye and saying, "I'd rather she had leukemia, because that would actually be easier to treat." That's when you realise you're dealing with something serious, something frightening, something most people around you cannot even begin to comprehend. Before chronic illness enters your family, you barely notice it exists. Then suddenly you see suffering everywhere, and you realise something deeply uncomfortable. Some children are suffering far worse. Some illnesses are chronic, some are critical, and some are terminal. And eventually every parent asks the same question: why my child? And if you're not careful, that question can destroy you psychologically. Because when it's your child, the pain feels personal, cruel, unfair, almost unbearable. But over time we learn something important. You cannot survive situations like this in a permanent state of panic. The best advice we were ever given was simple: keep a steady nerve and keep going. The second lesson was this: learn to duck and weave. Because when your child is seriously ill, you quickly discover medicine is not a neat straight line. One doctor says one thing, another says the complete opposite. One treatment works for 6 months, then suddenly stops. One medication causes side effects worse than the disease itself. You find yourself sitting in hospital corridors trying to decode complicated medical language while functioning on no sleep and living in a permanent state of fear. And eventually you realise something else. Nobody is coming to save your child for you. You have to become sharper, more observant, more questioning. You learn when to listen, when to push, when to wait, when to move. You learn to duck and weave. Not because you're difficult, not because you think you know everything, but because when it's your child, you cannot afford to sit there passively without answers, because they're looking to you for one. Our daughter had a very serious form of Crohn's disease. At one point we were told surgical mutilation was inevitable. 19 years later, she's healthy, fit, strong, independent, and mad as a box of frogs. She's running a successful business, travelling, building a future, and about to begin a high-level professional course as a psychotherapist. And we are profoundly grateful for that, but we also understand not every family gets that outcome. Some families carry levels of pain most people cannot even imagine, and life can be brutally random. Years ago I saw a stolen car racing through a city centre bus lane at horrific speed. A young teen stepped onto the crossing at exactly the wrong moment, running to catch up his mates who had just crossed. The joyrider hit him full force and never even stopped, just disappeared into the distance. The young boy flew 30 feet in the air and hit the tarmac. I still remember the sound, and I remember thinking, some families wake up in the morning having absolutely no idea their entire world is going to collapse before lunchtime. That's life. And once you truly understand that, you stop taking ordinary days for granted. Here's the lesson: if life ever hits you with something devastating, keep a steady nerve, keep going, learn to duck and weave. Protect your mind from bitterness, because sometimes survival itself is an act of courage. If this made you think about somebody, share this with them, and I'll see you in the next one.